Just a 1 minute warning, or 2 minute warning. We're going to start soon, so if we could start milling to our seats. Hello, everyone. I think we're ready. So thank you for being here. Just reminding you that we are at Action Théâtrale Caribéenne, Caribbean Theatre Project, and we are here for the 4 p.m. staged reading of Street Sad. In French, it's Trottoir Chagrin, by Luc Saint-Eloy, who is here with us. Is Luc in the room? Where's Luc? He stepped out. How did he step out? Okay, we will acknowledge him when he returns. Water. Understood. That's necessary. So Luc Saint-Eloy was born in Djibouti in 1955. He's trained as an actor and director in France. Since 1983, he has been the director of the Théâtres de l'Art Nouveau in Paris, deeply engaged in the African Caribbean arts in France. And here he is, Luc Saint-Eloy. Thank you for joining us. Yes, come on in. Saint-Eloy is also the head of the Centre Culturel pour la Promotion des Arts Afro-Caraïbes. He has directed over 20 performances in which he revisits the history of colonialism and slavery, combining theater, music, dance, and storytelling. His play will be directed by Paul Price. He's a producer, writer, and actor. His notable television acting credits as an actor include Netflix original series Marvel's Jessica Jones, in theater Hamlet with Academy Award nominee Paul Giamatti. He's co-directing his debut feature-length film, The Deliverer, in 2020. Paul is an alumni of the Yale School of Drama and was born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to turn it over to Paul now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I have a big voice. I need this. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Street Sad. It's a real pleasure to be here and to share this work. Thank you, Luc. Eloi, where are you? Okay. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have experienced this. So sit back and enjoy. Characters. Her. Young prostitute. No attachments to the world left. Nothing scares her. She sells herself when she feels like it. It's a game. A taste for mischief sends her into the night like an enemy penetrating conquerable lands, and she spits words like cannonballs. She is what she is, and nothing can change that. Him. Psycho, voyeur, killer. The tree hiding in the forest.
Hey, you. The one talking to yourself. I've been watching you sitting there for a while now. It's like you're waiting for something to happen. But this place is empty. People only come here when there's a concert. It's not right to be here alone, like this, just sitting there in the same spot, in the same place, waiting. Especially if you're a woman, and a woman like you. I've been watching you.
Like a hunter spotting his prey, or a peeping Tom. But you haven't made a move. What are you waiting for? Why don't you just move on? Where I'm from, in my country, we call what you're doing faire les macros. And what I'm doing here right now, what I'll be doing in 5 minutes, is exactly nobody's business but mine. If you're looking for a little company, I recommend heading on over to La Rue Budapest.
If I were you, I wouldn't be acting so high and mighty around other people like that.
Funny. Trying to scare me hiding in the dark like that little monster. I knew you were there. I knew you were following me. You followed me all the way here, drooling like an idiot. And you had no idea that I knew I was being followed.
Wait, who was following you? Me? I was just going wherever my steps took me.
Oh, and your steps just happened to take you wherever mine took me? Just like that. When we were behind the train station earlier, when I made those 2 loops around the newspaper stand, I could have hit up against the wall and then unloaded my pepper spray right in your face, you know.
Easy. My steps took me where your steps took you. It just happened.
Fine. What do you want? What's your vibe? What are you into?
You have nothing to fear. I don't want to hurt you.
Don't worry, man. I am not your scared type. Long as I've been out here, alone, at night. It's been clear to me that horny dudes are far more scared than the girls they're creeping on. Especially on Saturday nights when they all come out after their little depressing work weeks with their ugly faces. They don't scare me. You got the wrong prey, man.
Being so sure of yourself might throw your game off. What are those things called? You know, ice pops? Every day we stuff the stick in their ass and they shut up.
Oh, so you followed me all the way here just to sell me ice pops. Might want a new profession, pal, if you're trying to work nights. A good businessman operates transparently. Only rapists and killers hide themselves like you're doing, like a coward. What are you waiting for? I can't hear you. What'd you say? You want me to come into the dark and get raped. Is that what you want?
It's the sound of the waves that keep the little fish from sleeping.
What?
I said, it's the sound of the waves that keep the little fish from sleeping.
Right. After ice pops, fish, of course. And then it'll be boars, chicken, Barilla's linguine, the galaxies, the moon, the stars, the universe. What do you want? What are you into?
I said I don't want to hurt you.
So then what's your problem?
You're too sweet when you flirt.
You been with me?
I just know you, that's all.
Oh, and I did some stuff you liked? Got it. You want a little more then. Don't be mean, come on, come out. I choose my clients based on their faces. I've got what you want, man. I'm the one that's got you all hot and bothered in the shadows, and you know it. Don't act like you know me. I know your kind. Creeps. You, for example. Let's see. You spend your days set up right in the middle of the sidewalk, dying to get a little look. You set your sights on anything that moves. Your mouth open. You drool. You just want a little taste. Stilettos kill you. A little ass, legs, thighs, a tight mini skirt, the brain, the heart, whatever's inside, you couldn't care less. It's from behind that you decide what's worth it, right? That's what gets you hard. Obvious son of a bitch. It's not women that obsess you, it's their asses, their perfect little asses. And that gets under your skin and it burns, it itches. And you need it now. A look is not enough. You're hungry. You're thirsty. Our desires want to be realities. The beast inside us wakes up ready to do whatever, however, no matter what the cost. And then, voila, the solution. It was there all along. Whores. Right? Perfect. Whores. Drop a few bills and paradise. But I wonder, tell me, if I weren't here in this world, us whores, what would happen to you? What would you look to if I weren't here to heal you and your brotherhood of psychos? No. God bless the whores. God bless the streets where the whores roam. Amen.
nobody ever comes here. I could attack you. I could rape you. I could make you feel the worst things possible. I could make you shut up so I didn't have to listen to your dirty shit.
Oh, don't hold back, sweetie. Come on. Come show the nice little lady what you've got. Come on. What? You getting bored with my type of whore? I know you want me to run. You want me to run into the dark so you can pounce on me. Come on, sweetie. We'll see how long you last staying in the shadows like that. I'll make you wish you had never creeped on me.
I said I don't want to hurt you.
I know what you want. I know you're kind. Look, this time of night, there's 100 of guys like you. Nestled up in street corners, waiting for hours like total losers. I see them every day. The biggest cowards stay in the dark, waiting for forever, and then they just end up leaving. But the others, the ones that can't stop staring, the ones on fire with their needs, whose face tell you everything their tiny little brains can't keep in, we throw them a bone, and they follow, and they crawl after us.
Like flies. They circle you. And then when you drop them, they stick to you like shit.
Oh, and they pay. Yes, sir, they pay to eat shit. They pay, and they'll leave their little stations, and they come to us, just like their wives and their mothers go shopping, and we are the sellers of their pleasure. We sell it to them, and they eat it up like animals. Their stomachs huge, and they drool like pigs. Poor fools. I hate all my clients. So indeed, they pay. Yes, sir. But if they only knew what was simmering in my sacred whore's body, I swear they'd jet faster than a rocket. What you don't realize, all of you, is that my flesh alone is the promised land. It's not the sex you want. It's my entire body that poisons you. It's my soul. And it's your grandmother, and your mother, and your little sister, your daughter who watch you, and whose insides explode with every thrust of my hips.
Something's wrong with you, girl.
Be evil. I'll put a curse on you in the name of all women, in the name of my body, in the name of our ruined bodies, in the name of my broken life. I'll put a curse on you. I know what you're thinking. Hiding out in the darkness like a coward. You're all just the same. Just a mob of lunatics. I'll never move from here. You're the foreigner.
What foreigner? You're leaving because we're the same.
White, black, yellow, red, green. I couldn't care less. A lunatic, a psycho who jumped all over me, who raped me, who cut my throat and send me dancing into the next world. Yeah, that's what I want to go through.
Stop.
Fine. Got cash? Trying to fuck?
I don't want your body or sex.
Fine. What do you want me to be then? Your mother? Your priest? Same animal, same skin, same price.
Does it have to be all money and sex between us?
What, you want me to waste my time?
I followed you because I wanted to understand you, to listen to you, to talk to you.
I don't like that look. You smile, but your eyes don't.
Old habit. Being black taught me to smile with just my lips.
You want to write your life story then?
I want to be with you, to understand you.
You look at me, and you ask yourself why. Why? Why not? Why not, baby? I am a whore, and so what? I am what I am. Don't worry. I wasn't born a whore, no woman is. you become one. And I am one, a real one. My ass is a golden ticket to a future with the devil, because I forgot to respect the rules of little baby Jesus. Is it my fault that I was born black in a country whose air stinks of no future? Where men only think of sex and women rented out for a plate of green beans and some bacon? Is it my fault if the fruit of the plate of the green beans and some bacon, if I had to leave my heaven without a mother, without a father, with only a belly half full of life? You stink of misery, young lady. You're black. You have no degree. You're not even pretty. Your mother played a cruel trick bringing you into this world, and if you were a man, I'd tell you to take refuge in the army. That's where your type belongs. But you are nothing but a woman, and a poor black woman. Try to live. Death will drag you into the hornet's nest of life. What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do to fight that? I know. Become a whore. It's better than any army. You keep your freedom. And if you're good at it, you might even get a little respect. So voila, whore. But a good whore. A better than any shitty nurse or a postal worker. I'm not proud, but I'm not ashamed either. I own my shittiness of my existence. I'm the kind of creature who could have something buzzing all over her skin, and it won't matter whether they're kind of flies that eat shit, or honeybees, or blowflies, or whatever. Insult, injury, that's my daily bread. And I'll deal with it because it's my job.
These days, misery is to man what plants are to the earth. And flowers everywhere. And we definitely deserve it. The one sole path that leads to total nothingness, we've discovered it. But you're not like the others. No, you are not like the others. I knew it the first time.
What first time?
The first time.
What first time?
Do you know the story of that umbrella? I could tell you, step for step, how it ended up in your possession. It was about a week ago, bad weather, on the corner of Boulevard Voltaire. You were the only one outside who didn't run when it started raining. A man planted himself right in front of you. He looked at you. Here, take the... It's all crumpled. You watched. The tears and the rain cut you off from the world. He put it in your hand. You couldn't see anything. I disappeared.
It was you?
It was me. The very first time, there, that night, and then tonight, I saw you again. I didn't know it, but I followed you.
Here. Thank you.
No, keep it. It's a gift. The other day, the tears, under the rain.
That's exactly how it was. Once he was gone, now it's coming back to me. I see it. I see it again. Exactly how it happened.
We loved you so much that we spent our nights.
I loved him. He loved me. Like children, simply.
He pushed
We
you.
loved each other simply.
He pushed you to move in. Proof of love.
Air. Murdered like a dog. I swear I'd never come back. A year later, all forgotten, nothing learned. Memory is like television. We watch our lives pass us on screen. We die, we're born 20 times, 1,000 times, 100 times. Everything we love and everything we hate passes by.
Who is...
My life, Jeannot. My own flesh and blood, one never forgets. After I was born, my poor, single mother let my little brother Jeannot go into the world. Who was the father? Nobody knew. He was dropped into the world like a perfect little turd. 15 days later, without even looking at him, my mother took him to Mademoiselle Adele, and she left him there for 8 years. And then when he came back to the house, it's the most beautiful day of my life.
Here.
My mother never accepted him. For years, he had to endure the stupidest, the meanest punishments. Mr. Leopold, the director of the school, with his perfect monkey suit and tie. One day, he knocked on our door, and it was a Tuesday, noon. He accused Jeannot of scraping the hood of his vintage Peugeot. A Peugeot? Vintage? Entirely new, do you understand? His colleagues saw it, they testified. This young man had to learn respect of other people's property. Respecting other people was as essential as respecting oneself. If you try to be a good, respectable man, it is indispensable. Now's the time to fix it. Pay attention. My Peugeot, vintage, entirely new. Bring Jeannot here. My mother stepped back, and she gave that man a lightning stare as she screamed, "Get her! Get out of my house! There are no gangsters in this house." She slammed the door, then like a cyclone, without any explanation, she beat Jeannot worse than a mother had ever beaten her son. She hid him for hours, unleashing all of that hate that had stored up in her own abandoned heart. And then she'd had enough. She collapsed on the couch like a fat, exhausted cow in a pool of cotton balls. Jeannot hid in the corner of his room like a dirty pile of laundry. It took a few minutes to gather myself, a bit like gathering hens. I held him to my chest with all my force, and a storm raged inside of him. His little face changed. I didn't want to see his heart explode. I held him tighter, as tight as I could, so that he'd become like water, calm. My brother was 12. It was the first time that I had seen him cry. Pain was born in our red eyes. With the help of some kind of potion, some magic, strange feelings swirled about, confusing us. New things happened to us without warning, They were scary good. I placed my lips on his, like a dream, once, twice, again, endlessly soft little kisses. And they were warm, and we stayed like that, curled up, our bodies, our souls intertwined, protecting each other into the night. Our hearts spoke to each other of, to be loved, to become one with one another, full of love and joy and hate. We'd step together, we would stick together forever. I would be the shirt on his back. When he yelled, "Cut!" I'd yell, "Chop it all down!"
He'd say, "Cut!"
Chop it all down! And when we came here, we lived in a small maid's room in Barbès, and that's where we made up our favorite game. And what do we do when we get bored in Paris? And I'd answer, "We remember." And then we laughed like crazy. And in Paris, what do we do when we get bored? We remember. It was Mama Fifi, you know? Papa Jacoby's neighbor. She always had so many stories. And when Miss Geraldine Dingwall gets off the boat, it's America. We couldn't care less.
Which America? The one where we used to meet up, everybody packing on the corner of 12th Avenue?
No, the one Jeannot was talking about.
But which? The one that makes the whole world shake, or the real America? The America of the death penalty, who wastes little boy in electric chairs?
No, the America of Angela Davis, of great black leaders, of Geraldine Dingwall, who sang Big Country. Jeannot loved her like crazy. She taught him about New York. It's the biggest city and the biggest country in the whole world. Do you know what happens in New York? He used to say that nonstop. Potato, potato, jazz, like blues, music. This one really gets me. This is Billie Holiday. This is Aretha Franklin. And this is Armstrong and Lionel Hampton, Bessie Smith, Count Basie, Mahalia Jackson. The jazz had him talking nonstop. That Geraldine Dingwall totally changed him. When they left, the day after next, he was rebaptized Jonathan, a Black American citizen. Okay, sister? My name is Jonathan. Jonathan Jackson. Our dirty little room in Barbès became America in no time at all. All four walls covered with American greats. Martin Luther King, Angela Davis, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, all the great Black Americans. But Jeannot, hey, I am Jonathan, okay? You know. Okay, d'accord, brother, you know, yeah. Your name is Jonathan. Brother. There's really no space, no room for the rest. Ignace, Delgrès, Toussaint Louverture, Franz Fanon. Bubblegum. He always ate American bubblegum in his mouth, and he'd look at me with this American face, and he would say, yes, sister, one day we'll move. You'll all be there, okay, sister? Il sera tout là. And then he'd hug me. He was like that. We always loved each other, and he always wanted me to call him Jonathan. So I called him Jonathan. He wanted me to like his music, so I liked Black music. I like it. That day, Saturday, 6 p.m., he left this house with a smile and his American jacket in hand. Ciao, darling. The concert's at 8. Ciao, Jonathan. Ciao. It was the last time I saw him. They took him from me. Murdered. Like a dog. Not a day goes by when I don't see his murder happening before my eyes, like images on a tabloid. Not a day goes by when I don't think about that shit Saturday. I've dreamt so many times of this giant drop of blood drowning the two of us. I should have gone with him. I should have protected him from that vermin, from that knife, from that filthy, huge pig with his dirty face and that stupid thug, that diseased monster. Security. They said security. Jeannot was protected by security assassin. Murdered. I've imagined it so often, panicked, stuck deep in the crowd, hot, that filthy pig's blade shining in the sun. The crowd ran and screamed in all directions, murder! Yes? But don't worry, it's just a Black guy. It's no big deal, nothing to be sad about. If he stayed under the coconut trees, he'd still be alive. There were so many of them. They looked threatening, said that other asshole, defending himself, making excuses for killing my Jeannot. The cops believed him. Accomplices, all of them, assholes. Music drives Black people crazy. It makes them dangerous. It makes them want to get the white man. Every time there's a concert in this place, we double our profits. Yes, indeed, Mr. Journalist. You check your sources before you cry racism. Dirty, rotten liars. Dead for nothing. My Jeannot. Just like that. Because he lived in a country where the color of his skin set maniacs off like bulls seeing red. If only I had been there.
Yesterday I saw a boy pretending to kill his friend. Children imitate adults. They don't know that adults aren't children. Killing isn't child's play.
Here.
The painter has his brushes. The poet, his pen. The wind, its birds. The sea, her waves. The iguana's hot. The bear is cold. Nicholas Guillen.
And me? I had Jeannot. Jonathan.
Life's written on paper, but death is rock solid. What good are memories for if mourning is so useless? And you speak now of then, yesterday, tomorrow, today, a year ago. You cling to time with words only you understand, but everything you say, everything you do, it's for nothing. Living, dying, pleasure, pain, it's all the same. The end always comes. You rush to get on the train at 7:30 on the dot. And at 7:30, all the zombies watching you to rush, they get in past the doors right before they close, and then you get in. And when you do, they make a little space for you. And then you take your place, there, on the orange bench, just fitting in, plopping down onto an ass drawn in black ink. And there you sit, two idiots inevitably watching you, a little old lady doing the crossword, all three of whom had shuffled about in sync to make a place for you, and now they stare at you. Why? All the wise men in the world, all the shrinks, all the philosophers, everybody who knows the why of things, they'll give you a why, the real why. They'll tell you how sitting in that exact spot affects everybody but you. That ass drawn in black ink on the orange bench, everything you've always wanted to know but never dared asking, they'll tell you why you sit down right on it. I'll tell you something even more simple. It's evidence. There was no grand conspiracy to make a place for you at 7:30 on the dot on this train car. You saw it, the ass drawn in ink when you sat down. Nobody wanted the seat because everybody knew perfectly well that if they did, they'd walk around with the ass of the moron who sat on that seat stuck to their backside all day. And you, but you, of course, you happily sat right down. No accident there. Because of everybody on that train, you were the only one willing to put your ass on the ass of a stranger. Other people were disturbed by the thought, but you, that's your job. It wasn't an accident, you chose it. You sat because you wanted to. You were game. It's like dying. It disturbs others. But you'll die when you're ready, because it's time. People always think it's unjust to die in an accident. But no one ever dies by pure chance. It's your return ticket. We can't go backward. So what's the point of going back and forth, of dwelling in the past, of even thinking about it when the task is to move on? It's by walking straight, not looking back, that I stumbled upon you tonight. I followed you without knowing why. I understood nothing because you were the one leading. You wanted me to follow you, to find you. Your steps led mine here. And that's why there's nobody else here at this time at night, because nobody, not a cat, not an insect, nobody dares approach us. We're alone. Soon we'll have to come to blows, as if that were the only way out. The rest of the animals are hidden in their corners of this monstrous city. They know we're not their kind. It's the law. The world has always been a jungle. Cities are full of savage beasts tossed into the streets one after the other according to a law that we will never ever grasp. Oh, it's too late. Don't you get it? Killing is natural. Like sleeping, eating, talking, resting, drinking. One has to accept one's fate.
My fate was Jeannot. I don't give a shit about the rest.
No, the rest is you. Look at us. You were just talking now like somebody who knew the language of war, of the jungle, of all the furious beasts who want nothing more than to kill. It's me you want to crush, because it's winter everywhere in your body. And the truth is, we can't resist long when we're in a storm. And you're nothing more than a little ball of wandering youth with nobody to talk to. exhausted by desire. Pain is like that. It makes us alone. People all around you, but you're alone. All night, in every neighborhood of Paris, alone. The city is pitiless. It's nothing but pedophiles and whores. And the rest are lost souls. Nobody to talk to you when you need to talk. But I wanted the night. Pedophiles, whores, and lost souls. Now you enter the first dive bar you see. It doesn't matter which. You stay at the bar an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You look for somebody who looks like you. You look for somebody who might want to talk to you. But nobody looks like you. Somehow with laughter, others rant like mad. And two people there in the corner, like famished beasts attacking each other. Another woman in the corner smoking a joint going on about a miserable boyfriend. And then you gain ground. You gain back your territory. You go round and around like a crab at the bottom of the bucket and you stumble upon them. The whores, the pedophiles, the lost souls. Like the country bumpkin says, it's too much. Exactly, it's too much. So many, too many of my little sisters on the streets turning tricks. They act proud, arrogant. They rebel. But there's absolutely nothing in their dirty little heads. Last week, 2 of them, 2 little beasts, jumped up right after I'd finished. That's it. All done.
I want to put my head on his shoulder.
You're nothing when you have nothing left. We treat you like dirt and you become an animal.
I don't want to think anymore.
As a thing, you're nothing more than a pile of dirty laundry. As an animal, you're worse than the beast who has no other choice but to hunt in order to exist. I chose to be the beast, free of feelings, shamed by neither by God nor men.
I think of good times. That helps me deal with all of the world's evils.
Your words thunder in the night like bullets.
I didn't want to come back.
I didn't know people like you existed.
I didn't want to leave.
You'll leave here.
I've talked a lot. Talked too much, haven't I?
Some people hide their pain like a dirty little sickness. You, your sadness, you parade it down the street like you were walking a dog. You need to go now.
I said too much. This night isn't like the other nights. Here, take your money.
No, keep it.
My pain belongs to me. You didn't pay for that.
It's me. I'm the one who was talking. Keep it. What are you doing?
What do you want? You'll get your money's worth, baby.
I don't want your body.
Take me. And then if you want, we can keep talking too.
Just let me go.
I was nasty to you. So? You're dying with desire, and that kills you. Forget what I said.
You should go.
I can tell. You're dying with desire.
Enough. You don't know anything. Time is going to cease and you don't get it. We can't see time passing. That's how it is. It's like staring into a bottomless hole, an endless empty chain of emptiness, longer than an endless tunnel. Where it's headed, where it started, where it ends, you understand nothing. Every question leads to another question. Every question gets swallowed up by the tunnel. A ladder. It's a huge, long ladder. It's a mirror with no reflection. Nowhere. Nothing. Nothing. But there are those who dance and those who play. You dance because the game isn't the game you want to play. But who is going to give you all the secrets? Too many whys, too much asking. You need to leave this place. Go.
You talk like an unreadable book.
I talk like one who is what he is and knows what he is. And if I say you need to leave, you need to leave.
I do what I want. I stopped taking orders a long time ago.
I'd have been long gone if I were you. Just look at my hands.
What about them?
These hands kill. I'm the killer of girls the police are looking for. I strangled them with these hands to calm myself, to stop my suffering, to bury my shame. I crushed their heads. I felt them die in my hands. The harder they fought, the greater the pleasure I felt. A pleasure mixed with power, stronger than anything sexual. That feeling gets me hard. It's my drug. And these hands, they get it for me when I need it. Understand now?
A real live killer with hands that strangle. How about a bullfighter too? Come on. I'll be the bull, the big fat cow. I'll charge. Come on, we're in the arena, and you're trying to kill me for the fun of it.
Whoa.
Come on, baby, I'll charge. Toreador preangrar.
Don't be an idiot.
Toreador, take me, come on.
Go.
Oh, God.
You're insane.
Ole, ole, come on, baby.
Last week, 2 of them,
Oh, let's go. Take me.
they jumped like 2 little beasts.
Ole, ole, let's go, baby.
I'm telling you 2 minutes and it's all over.
Oh, it's not over, baby. Ole, ole.
You must have exhausted even your whore of a mother.
Oh, you. Think about your mother, baby. Come on now.
That bitch trying to stick the hooks into me? Trying to mother me as if I were her disgusting little son. Let's go. It's over.
Voila. The problem. And you're right, baby. You're right. Your mother was very much a woman. Carry on.
They're all nasty bitches, I said. They all need a good beating.
Oh, they annoy you, baby. They annoy you.
They trap the first idiot that comes their way and they take vengeance on their sons.
Take vengeance, baby. Take me if that's what you want.
Oh, they're all monsters.
Oh, poor baby.
2 minutes, and then it's all over.
Right? Okay, let's go, baby. Ole, ole, it's not over yet. The red light killer has struck again. A young Antillean prostitute was found strangled in her studio, a lifeless body. This you.
It's me.
You don't have a face of a killer.
The killer doesn't have a face. If I showed you my chest, you'd see their claws. You'd see right where they were scratching, where they left marks where they were fighting. Go.
Death doesn't scare me. See? I'm not afraid. I've been waiting for so long. Let me do it.
You should go.
Don't say another word. Beautiful. Strong. I want them. Do it. I'm begging you. Do it.
Star, like a sun, like a huge, brilliant sun. A gigantic light. So bright, it's beautiful. Closer I get, more I feel it. Nature. As if a memory deep in my heart woke up, took over my mind. Delicious. A love-filled sleep. Jeannot. It's him. Southern trees that are strange, blood on the leaves, and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, set of magnolia, sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rock, for the tree to drop. Here is a strange and bitter cry.
Transition directly into a post-show discussion with Paul and Luke, hosted by Steve Puig. So give us like 10 seconds to get chairs out, and we're going to transition to the panel. Yeah. Yes, let's do it. So just, yeah, support as needed. So I'm going to hand it over to Steve to start the post-show discussion.
Hi everybody, my name is Steve Puig. I'm actually, I teach French not too far from here in Queens at St. John's University. And on a personal note, I'm also an alumnus from the Graduate Center. So it's nice to be back here. I actually teach this semester a class on French Caribbean literature. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of theater in the class. We do a lot of poetry, we do a lot of novels, but we don't do a lot of theater. So it's nice for me to, discover new voices in French Caribbean theater. So thank you for, allowing me to, find out more about this. And I guess I'm going to ask a couple of questions, maybe to Luc and maybe to Paul, and see if you want to talk maybe about the inspiration behind the play. I know it's been played in France a few times already. And so just if you want to say a word maybe about the inspiration for the play, and the reception maybe in France and in other places, how you were received, things of that nature. Maybe if you want to start like that, and then I can ask people if they have questions. So, juste pour traduire, là, si vous pouviez parler de l'inspiration derrière la pièce, et aussi donc comment les personnages vous sont venus, et aussi comment la pièce a été reçue. Vous avez dit qu'elle était passée en France plusieurs fois.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, my English is very, very bad. I'm sorry. Because I said thank you, Mr. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, my pleasure. No.
Thank you, George. And you are marvelous. Thank you. Au départ, I speak French, okay. Au départ, je voulais absolument créer un personnage féminin libre dans sa tête, dans son corps, et j'ai cherché comment je pouvais, quel profil j'aurais pu trouver en sachant qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup de personnages féminins dans le répertoire théâtral caribéen. Et l'idée de la prostituée m'est venue. Après, comme je ne connais rien de la prostitution, j'ai dit, bon, c'est une prostituée, eh ben, c'est un problème. Là. Je ne connais rien de ce milieu. Après, je lui ai dit, mais quand on est prostituée, qui on peut aimer? Voilà. Et j'ai imaginé un amour extraordinaire entre un frère et une sœur.
Sure. First off, I wanted to create a female character that was free in body and in mind, especially given the fact that such types of female characters aren't very present in Caribbean theater. And my mind turned to the world of prostitution, which is one that I don't know very well. And so I was then tasked with getting to know this world and creating this type of strong female character within that world. And then my mind turned after that to specifically the relationship between her and a brother, and focusing on that special kind of relationship between siblings for this character, for this feminine character. Anything else?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. And so the second part of the question was more about the reception of the play. Could you tell us where it was played in France and the reception of the play and
La pièce a été créée en Martinique parce que j'ai été lauréat d'un concours d'écriture dramatique.
The piece was first created in Martinique when he was laureate, recipient of a grant there.
Et c'est la première fois, it's the first time, c'est la première fois que j'avais un budget, un vrai budget. Il y a la rencontre entre l'homme et la femme, et à la création, j'ai voulu mettre en scène la mort. Et j'ai imaginé que la mort, c'est une espèce de grande maman qui, à chaque fois qu'on meurt, c'est comme un accouchement. Chaque fois qu'on meurt, la mère mort met au monde un enfant. Donc j'ai mis en scène la mort, chorégraphiée par une danseuse américaine, Veronica Raymond, à l'époque, en 92. Et donc, la mort prend vie sur le plateau pendant 15 minutes. Et dans ce monde, on n'a qu'un seul sexe, on est tous femmes, il n'y a plus de problème, c'est la paix, et on danse. On ne parle pas avec des mots, on communique avec des gestes. Ça, c'était ma fin idéale de la vie et de l'amour.
So the original vision was to have death itself on stage and in the form of a mother. I imagined being death as a kind of mother, and every time someone died, death gave a child back to the world in a sort. And so there was a choreography with an American dancer from the 80s, and there was a kind of dance of death on stage for about 15 minutes without words, just gestures and this choreography, and death itself materialized on the stage.
Dans l'au-delà, je la fais rencontrer Jeannot.
Okay.
Elle rencontre Jeannot qui est devenue une femme.
Oh, sorry, right. And so then, and when she goes, when the female character dies in heaven, in the beyond, she meets Jeannot in the body of a woman. And so this dance is between her and Jeannot in the body of a woman in the beyond.
So I was also curious about the Jeannot character, since we're talking about him, and since we're in New York. So Jeannot is very much fascinated by American culture, and especially African American culture, right? And so there's in the play there's a mention of Frantz Fanon, there's a mention of Toussaint Louverture, who are like very much Caribbean heroes and Caribbean thinkers that have been very important in the United States. But I was wondering if you could say something about maybe the character of Jeannot and how he's maybe that fascination for the U.S. and is there, because we were talking about earlier about you know, heroes and role models for maybe you know, Caribbean people, and so do you think there's a place, that people in the Caribbean and maybe even in France know enough about Frantz Fanon and Toussaint Louverture, who are very much Caribbean heroes and things that, you know. Vous avez besoin que je traduise ou?
Okay, it's good.
C'est bon?
It's good. Jeannot est symboliquement ce que nous sommes dans nos pays colonisés. On ne sait rien de nous. On ne sait rien de notre histoire. On ne sait rien de notre passé. Et en fait, l'idée, c'est que quand on est jeune et qu'on est perdu, on s'accroche à la première bouée. La première bouée, ça peut être la drogue, ça peut être n'importe quoi. Et là, c'était une chanteuse américaine, son premier amour. Et il découvre le monde américain grâce à cet amour qu'il a pour la chanteuse américaine. Mais quand il découvre, il a des références. Il a des références là-bas aux États-Unis parce qu'ils ont des grands leaders noirs. Et comme nous, on n'a pas appris nos leaders, ben, il épouse les leaders noirs américains.
Okay. Jeannot symbolizes all of our, sort of symbolizes the collective experience in his country, such that when you're young and we don't know anything about our history or our past, and when you're young and you don't know anything about your history or your past, you grab onto the first buoy, the first thing that supports you, whatever it might be, drugs or crime, or in Jeannot's case, American culture, and an American singer was his kind of first source of support or of sustaining himself, his buoy. What was after that?
And then so the American heroes, the Billie Holiday, right?
Right, and then and specifically in terms of then looking toward looking for black role models or leaders, given the legacy of that in the United States. That in particular was a source of inspiration for Jeannot, who himself is symbolizing a country in search of leaders, or a country lost and without leaders.
Et donc la sœur aînée veut compléter le tableau des références. Et ceux-là sont américains, mais chez nous, il y a Fanon, il y a Delgrès, il y a Ignace. Ce sont les références de notre histoire guadeloupéenne ou même antillaise. Et c'est ça qui est important pour le spectateur aussi, pour qu'on comprenne qu'il faut commencer à apprendre notre histoire.
And so then with regards to the sister, she sort of symbolizes the way in which the people of Jeannot's country can then begin to assume their own history, which is in part a history of adopting these other sources, but has become their own. And the need for that, the need for a kind of a recovering of one's history and or of taking in of other sources through this relationship with his sister, which that symbolizes.
And I guess, Paul, maybe you can ask something? Because I was wondering how you approached the play and the mise en scène and all of this in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really interesting piece, and you know, there's a lot that Luc is exploring in that, in terms of female violence and the portrayal of a woman as in the role of a prostitute. And I think the conversation, certainly in the United States, has changed in terms of representation and black women in particular, and certain tropes of black femininity as well. As well as the female and the male as well in relationship to that, because, you know, of course, and then you have this man killing this black woman, right? So those were things that were on my mind, and I think to some extent we talked about that in some of our rehearsals, and how do you take in a story like this in the current socio-political space in terms of blackness, femininity, Me Too, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think one of the things that we found in that rehearsal, I think, and I think you both did an extremely great job. So a round of applause for the actors. I think what Zoe was able to find, I think even more so today in particular, was the celebration, which you said, the celebration of who she is and her humanity in spite of her profession. And I think there's also this idea, which I thought worked really well, and I thought what was great in this piece, in that there wasn't the shaming of the prostitute, do you know, and that sex work, whether you're for it or not, is work, do you know? And oftentimes it is work that is available. Do you know? You know, and I think she finds herself within that, and I think there's a real strength in that, and I think that was some of the conversation we had, and also with the guy, it was interesting, voyeur, killer, and psycho. You know, we played with what is this guy's deal, and I think when we did discover that he wasn't the dominant, he wasn't the leader, he wasn't the power structure, she was. Yeah, so those were just some of the things we kind of talked about.
Thank you. Maybe we should, is there any questions maybe from the floor at this point? Yeah, sure.
I would like to ask you, Josh, since you are the translator, and you did a great job, I think. That's a beautiful, beautiful play in English. You know, I rediscovered the play in English. What were the challenges for you, you know, to translate this play from French into English?
Yeah.
If you can talk about the work of translating.
Sure. The challenges were many. I think the two main challenges that I would name are, or were, first, just inhabiting experiences so alien to my own personal experience. Especially in theater, I find that when you translate theater, there's a certain kind of entering into another experience that is required, and given that this play addresses things that I do not personally know, that was particularly challenging in this case. Also, given the French in particular, Luc's French is it's very high and low. He goes high, you know, he goes beautiful and poetic, and then he goes street and nasty. And I love that about the French. And so trying to find a way to make, but also French lends itself to flights of poetry that then kind of sound dirty but aren't, and I don't know. And English is a little, the rhythms are different. And so both getting the high and low right in terms of the sort of poetry and then the dirtiness, but also making the transitions between that high and low flow in a way that French can do that English often can't. Yeah.
Stephanie, any other questions maybe? Yeah.
My question might be weird. I mean, the action is taking place in Paris, near Barbès. Is it correct? Why did you pick Paris, Barbès, and not a place in Martinique, for example?
Donc, pourquoi est-ce que vous avez choisi que l'action se passe à Paris et pas à la Martinique ou à la Guadeloupe?
Parce que je voulais que le jeu, la situation se joue dans une grande ville urbaine à l'extérieur de chez nous. Ces deux personnages sont des épaves humaines qui cherchent un havre de paix, qui cherchent l'humanité. Ils sont totalement marginalisés, mais je ne pouvais pas créer une pièce comme ça chez nous, en Guadeloupe ou en Martinique ou en Guyane. On ne vit pas de la même manière. Nos solitudes ne s'expriment pas comme ça. À cette époque-là, je pense qu'il n'y avait même pas de prostituées chez nous. Moi, j'ai écrit cette pièce dans les années 90. Il n'y a pas de prostituées. C'est arrivé après. Donc la prostitution chez nous, c'est beaucoup plus tard.
I wanted to create a piece that took place in a big city, precisely outside of our country, where two people who are strangers, not in their own land, not in their own country, who are lost and alone, find themselves searching for humanity abroad, and very much marginalized and very much on the margins of society. Moreover, I couldn't create such a piece in Martinique, for example, because the manner of experiencing solitude or loneliness of this sort is different than it is in, say, in Paris. Different kinds of searchings and solitude. And moreover, at this time, I don't believe that there were prostitutes in sort of the world of prostitutes like the one that existed in Paris, and I wanted to have the piece occupy that world, and so Paris provided it.
It's very important. La pièce est dédiée à Lucien Mélion, jeune Guadeloupéen qui a été assassiné à la porte de Pantin en 1977 à la fin d'un concert de Jean Bess. C'est aussi pour ça que ça se joue à Paris et que pour la mémoire du jeune, c'est une pièce contre les violences gratuites et bien évidemment, elle reste encore actuelle.
So it's also inspired by a true story of a young man who was killed at a concert, like Jeannot in Paris, young Guadeloupean in English?
Yeah.
In English, yeah. So it's based on a true story of a young man who was killed in Paris at a concert as well, and so it's also about such violence, such gratuitous violence.
Okay. Any other questions, maybe? Yeah, sure.
So I would like to ask questions of the actors. It was wonderful, but really, really very good. And it's obviously very tough to do something like this. So this also is a question for the director, because it was more than a reading. It was a staged reading, and there was a lot of acting that was going on. And the going between the registers of the language was something that you both managed beautifully. But what kind of preparation did you have to do these roles, which are really difficult? They're very dark. I have this awful feeling that we're in for much of the same for 2 days now.
Yeah, I did a lot of research because, one, I don't speak French, surprise. So even just in the language and that kind of the culture, but then going deeper into like prostitution and like what that world is, my YouTube search history is a little strange right now. And the energy of that darkness that kind of follows that career, and what part of you has to die and how do you survive emotionally through that. It's really interesting, but the beauty of this piece is that despite that, there's still like the fun, the joy of like, yeah, that's it, and fuck it, like, you know, and being able to take up that much space in a room is just enjoyable and worth it for me.
So I'm not a psycho or a killer. But for me, it was a lot of trying to understand the psychology of what it's like to be sort of a person who has detached themselves from society and does all these mass killings and disposes of these people as if it were, and gets off on it, right? And it's like, how could you ever do that? And so I would watch a lot of interviews with these killers and, my God. But in the sense that like, it's sort of, I sort of had to take things that I enjoyed, like going to the park or like the movies or cooking, and sort of try and meet it somewhere in the middle so that it was still authentic and it was still somewhat close. But it was really, there was a lot of discussion about it, and it made the room a lot more comfortable in order to really go about this piece and really say these words truthfully. And I think that was the best part. Paul, Zoe, really made it easy. Really like getting specific on the who are these people and what are they after, where do they come from, and once we figured that out, then it was okay. Let's dive in, and yeah.
There was a question also behind you.
Very deep piece. I really enjoyed. So many aspects of it was so powerful for me with the delivery and the writing. Of course, as an audience, I'm thinking, how is it going to end? And I'm wondering if you were conflicted in letting her live or letting her die, letting him die or let her live. And at points, I even thought, could it be that Jeannot is still alive and he's here to rescue her, you know, or the hero in the story in that way. So I wondered how much conflict you had. I know it's two characters, but it was surprising to me to see her die.
Donc à la fin, est-ce que vous avez hésité à la faire mourir ou qu'est-ce que c'était le...
It is a love story. It's an impossible love story with a man of a woman. Yes, it's a love story. A special love story. Il fallait la faire mourir. Parce que elle était dans un monde... Elle vit dans un monde qu'elle ne veut plus. Ce monde-là, il est trop méchant. C'est un monde de salisseurs d'âme. Comment on peut dire, comment on traduit salisseur d'âme?
Soul crushing, soul
Lovers, ruiners,
It's bad.
ruining love. People ruining love.
Ouais. Moi, je pense que ce personnage a tout perdu avec la mort de son frère. J'ai été assez précis sur l'amour vrai. Moi, j'ai une sœur que j'adore. J'aime beaucoup ma sœur. Et je cherchais comment une prostituée peut aimer, qui elle peut aimer. Et quand j'ai eu l'idée du frère et de la sœur qui s'aiment, moi, j'ai une sœur que j'aime. Donc, c'est l'amour vrai. Après, quand l'amour vrai a disparu, il n'y a plus rien, il n'y a plus rien. Alors, j'ai tenté, quand il se touche avec le parapluie, et c'est très bien, le parapluie, c'est le contact charnel, le contact qui rappelle qu'on est humain. Mais ça ne suffit pas. J'ai eu envie de faire une histoire d'amour et après, ça n'a pas marché. Ça ne marchait pas. Elle ne pouvait pas aimer, elle ne pouvait plus aimer. Voilà.
She had to die because she didn't want to be in this world anymore, and the world didn't want her. And just to go back to what he said at the end, he tried to do a love story, but the love story didn't quite work. And then when he was thinking about the kind of person that could love a prostitute in the way, and also be loved by a prostitute in this way, this real love between Jeannot and the prostitute. He himself has a sister who he loves a lot, and so he kind of combined his love for his sister, his real love for his sister, with the figure of the prostitute in order to create this real love between her and Jeannot. But in the end, she had to die because this world didn't want her anymore.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions, or do we have any more time? I'm not totally sure. I'm looking at the bus. Maybe for one more.
Yeah, one more.
One more. No, no more questions. No? Yeah, sure.
Luc.
Magali.
Luc. Qu'est-ce que ça t'a fait donc de voir la pièce in English? What happened in your heart when you saw the piece in English?
It's a beautiful present. It's a good present. It's j'ai vu mon histoire en me disant mais ça s'est passé aussi ici. Ça s'est passé comme ça ici. Il y a beaucoup de points communs dans la lecture qu'il en a faite. Il est fidèle. J'aurais pu être avec toi. C'est comme si j'étais ici. C'est vraiment vrai. C'est comme tout le poème, la gouaille du personnage, le calme apparent. C'est des gens qui doivent, qui sont condamnés à la solitude, mais qui n'acceptent pas la solitude, mais qui veulent parler. Ils veulent parler. Et c'est grâce à elle qu'il peut parler. Ça fait longtemps qu'il n'a pas parlé. Mais à force de l'avoir entendu, il a modifié son comportement. Ça aurait pu finir avec une histoire d'amour, mais j'ai pas réussi. Voilà. Mais pour moi, ça reste une histoire d'amour. La mort, c'est accessoire. J'ai répondu. Et moi, j'ai voyagé, j'ai trouvé ça formidable. Vraiment. Merci mille fois.
It was perfect. It was perfectly translated. And he felt that when he saw it and heard it, it felt as if it really were taking place here, as if the context or this world really was his world. So in a sense, it was perfectly translated, but not because of me. And these characters and their kind of loneliness and the ways in which they were trying to connect felt real here as well. And love itself, of course, is deeply accessible across contexts. And so their love seemed to translate into English as well. And he's traveled and he's seen it elsewhere, but this was really wonderful. And thank you a lot.
All right. And I guess on that note, do you want to add something? Vous voulez ajouter quelque chose?
Oui. Je voulais simplement dire que je crois que c'est une pièce sur l'humanité. Le personnage de la prostituée, le tueur, c'est accessoire. Pendant que j'écrivais cette année-là, aux informations, on nous apprenait que le plus grand tueur du siècle, c'était un Antillais. Il s'appelait Paulin. Il avait tué une série de vieilles dames. Je ne sais pas si vous vous rappelez. Stéphanie. Paulin, à l'époque. C'était le plus grand assassin du siècle. C'était un Antillais. Il avait tué une série de vieilles dames à Pigalle. C'est ça qui m'a donné l'idée de faire un assassin. Je connais un assassin, c'est accessoire. Je ne sais même pas si c'est vrai quand il tire le journal. Bon, allez, c'est vrai. Ouais. Mais c'est vraiment une histoire pour montrer notre humanité. C'est une histoire qui braque les projecteurs sur les marginalisés et qui attire notre attention sur notre indifférence dans les grandes villes, comme Paris ou ailleurs. Voilà, même à New York, ça aurait pu se passer à New York. C'est une question pour Paul. Cette histoire-là, elle aurait pu se passer à New York.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's it could be anywhere. You know, it's a love story, right? If it's like, you know, and there are killers everywhere. There's prostitution everywhere. You know, I mean, yeah, it could definitely happen here, and I think it really felt like it was here. You know, and I think it was really interesting. A lot of the references that you had, the African American references, and it felt right. And I think with that choice that we played the strange fruit at the end, it just felt apropos to end it in that way. Even the way her gaze was down almost as if she was singing to her as she was dying. So absolutely, very much.
You want to translate really quick? Sorry. we missed
Sure.
it.
It's I'll do it condensed. It's piece about our humanity and about life in big cities and the ways in which we're indifferent, the kinds of indifference that mark big cities, be it Paris or New York. And the text, the play tries to put the spotlight on the marginalized in these cities, precisely the kinds of people that we overlook or are indifferent to. And then he also encountered during the research for this play the story, or the real story of an Antillean man in Paris who was a serial killer, and so he was inspired by these true events as well.
All right, I guess we're good in terms of timing. Okay, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup to everybody. Thank you to the actors.
And thank you to the moderation panel. Thank you to Josh, the translator. Luke, thank you again for your beautiful work. Thank you, Steve Puig, for moderating a beautiful discussion. And thank you, Paul, for your work. And thank you to the actors. We'll be back at 6 for the next stage reading.